If you say I'm from Dalton, we go to the IML and they would see your Dalton on the name tag and they say, oh God, I'm gonna just pray for y'all. I'm gonna keep praying for y'all. Cause this is a black town, 80-90% black. We've been the poster child for black ignorance, black arrogance, black dysfunction. Now we want to be the poster child for black love, black excellence.
Trustee Ed Steves, running for re-election, is expected to be a turning point for Dalton, leading to needed change. The latest board meeting saw Tiffany Henyard bring drama to the table, causing a delay due to microphone issues. Despite a quorum being present, Tiffany was late and refused to address residents' concerns. This disregard for the community's concerns reflects her blind loyalty to Tiffany rather than the community's interest. The irony is that Tiffany demands respect from others but does not follow rules herself. Residents are starting to notice that trustees are growing frustrated with her hardiness and lack of accountability. The town faces real issues, and Tiffany appears to be more focused on asserting control and ensuring her microphone is always working perfectly. The imbalance of power in meetings is glaring, and the lack of genuine leadership is becoming impossible to ignore. The community is increasingly dissatisfied with Tiffany's behavior, and it's time for serious changes in Dalton.
Board and precious residents, we're not forced to do this. I love my job. I love working for Mayor Henyard. I'm here at 7:30 in the morning, whatever it takes, because this is what we inherited. I appreciate your energy and your effort to get these things done. And I'll end with this. It said, any that's chief among you, let it be he that served. We see your heart, that you love for these people. And so we're with you. And with that, I'm going to give my report.
Tiffany Henyard's behavior at a meeting is characterized by her tendency to agitate and provoke reactions. Despite being tardy, she insists that residents who have already completed the mail detectors process should repeat it, claiming she doesn't feel comfortable. This demand raises questions about whether it's a reflection of her disregard for others or a calculated move to serve control and show her power. Tiffany's behavior shows her disregard for the comfort and respect of the people she serves. Her late arrival and subsequent imposition of additional inconvenience may be deliberate tactics to provoke frustration and tension, as starting a meeting by alienating the people she represents is hardly a way to build trust. Tiffany's leadership style is characterized by an inconsiderate and authoritarian approach, which puts the community at a disadvantage. She prioritizes her own needs over the well-being and ease of the community, causing tensions and alienating the residents. Tiffany manipulates circumstances to fit her own needs, demonstrating little regard for the residents' time or resources invested in getting to the meeting. The decision to force residents through metal detectors again serves no purpose other than fueling unnecessary conflict. This behavior deepens a divide between TI and the residents, showing that a primary concern is maintaining control and asserting power. As the meeting progresses, it becomes clear that Tiffany's leadership style is alienating, self-serving, and counterproductive. She is more interested in making statements than being a representative of the people, demanding that residents repeat a process they've already gone through. This unproductive move only makes the community's growing frustrations even more palpable. Tiffany apologized for people acting out of order, but her actions set the tone for chaos. Chief Lacey's increasing involvement seems to align with Tiffany's personal agenda rather than serving the interests of the community. It is difficult to understand why Lacey's actions seem to be aimed at supporting Tiffany, as it seems like her focus is on protecting Tiffany's power rather than addressing real community concerns. The situation is only getting more tense with the ongoing accusations surrounding Trustee Andrew Holmes. The community of Dalton, a small town in Virginia, is facing a constant cycle of political maneuvering, personal vendettas, and power struggles. Andrew Holmes, once aligned with Tiffany, is now under scrutiny for exploiting people who were previously on her side. This has intensified the already heated environment, and Holmes's absence from the recent board meeting is telling. His past alliances with Tiffany are being used against him despite his previous connections with the mayor. The ongoing resentment towards Holmes only fuels the fire that has been building for months. It feels as if the situation is being deliberately stoked with people in positions of authority, leveraging their power to keep the drama alive and distract from the real issues at hand. While Tiffany's antics and Andrew Holmes' controversies dominate the conversation, the community's pressing concerns remain unresolved. The political maneuvering, personal vendettas, and power struggles are meant to keep the public distracted. while the real work of governance is ignored. Chief Lacey's role is also under scrutiny, as her actions seem to be more aligned with Tiffany's personal objectives than serving the community. The political power plays are overshadowing the real issues like safety infrastructure and economic well-being of the community. The residents deserve better than this constant game of accusations and distractions. They need transparency, accountability, and solutions to the challenges they face every day. A motion to approve an ordinance freezing the village's credit card policy was discussed, and trustees put in place an ordinance that freezes credit card payments. This is a stark contrast to Tiffany's past actions as a trustee before her election as mayor. Before taking office, Tiffany had control over financial matters and was already in a position where she had control over financial matters. The contrast between Tiffany's actions before becoming mayor and the current freeze on credit card payments is telling. As a trustee, Tiffany froze payments to ensure that taxpayers' money was misused. And now, as mayor, the trustees are taking similar actions to curb spending. Financial decisions are a major part of the ongoing drama. As the political temperature rises, with Jason House's candidacy for mayor and several trustees running for re-election, it is evident that this election will have significant consequences for the residents of Dalton. They need leadership that is clear, honest, and transparent, not a constant cycle of distractions and political gains.
There's no more purchasing or buying anything until the new board comes in. So I'm just letting you guys know, put that on hold so you don't cut checks for anybody. And if you got an issue, I think you should weigh in to the board. We'll know what the issue is, but don't cut any checks.
So, I just have one question. Do you mean you don't want any more services to be, you want all services to be halted until the new board? I'm a little confused as...
No, okay, I'll elaborate, sure. No, what I'm stating is I don't want anyone that's exiting to go with our dollars, the taxpayers' money, without board approval. So don't just cut checks because someone come to you and say, cut this check, cut that check. I'm saying either A, run across the board if it's something that we need to vote on or agree on before you cut checks. Because when the new mayor entered into office May 8th, we want to make sure all our money still is there.
Okay.
Okay.
So, just want to try to clear. Are you talking payroll or billing?
I'm stating, do not allow anyone to tell you to cut check that should not be telling you to cut check. That goes from the outgoing board.
At a board meeting, the discussion revolved around credit card spending changes in the sale of village property. The board had little trust in Tiffany's administration to handle funds properly, and the board had little faith in Tiffany's handling of funds. Tiffany remained composed throughout the meeting, despite accusations from the trustees that she and her team had handled funds recklessly. Her calm demeanor raised suspicions that she was unaware of the possibility of facing legal charges or that she was confident in her ability to get away with anything without consequences. Teacher Kiana grew more vocal and frustrated with Tiffany's actions and decisions. She raised the issue of the sale of the Melody Fitness Center property, which had been in use for years despite significant investments, including $50,000 spent on installing a police sign. Kiana made it clear that the community was in dire financial strains and that the property needed to be sold to get it back on the tax rolls, which would benefit the town. Kiana challenged the deputy chief, questioning why the building had been transformed into a police station or community center as originally intended. She also highlighted the unrealistic promises made in the past, such as turning the building into a free community pool, which had failed to come to fruition and had instead proven to be a financial drain. Kiana argued that selling the property was the only realistic option left in a no-holds-bar moment, describing the village's finances as a financial disaster. She emphasized that the board was already having to transfer money from the TIF tax income and financing district to cover basic bills, and that Tiffany's administration couldn't escape responsibility for contributing to the mess amid the financial struggles. The heat discussion. Kiana's exasperation boiled over into a memorable moment. She snapped, "You can go outside and we can sell you too." The comment, though intended to lighten the mood, was a telling remark that showcased just how far Tiffany's actions had pushed Kiana to the brink. The frustration and tension in the room were palpable. It was clear that Kiana had reached her breaking point. Tiffany had clearly pushed her too far, and Kiana wasn't backing down. The comment served as a symbolic reflection of just how desperate and angry Kiana had become at the ongoing mismanagement and lack of accountability. As the meeting continued, it was evident that Kiana was just getting started. Her vocal criticism of Tiffany's administration signaled that things were about to get even more heated. The battle over the sale of the property was far from over. Tiffany's previously unshakable grip on the administration might have seemed like a lock, but Kiana's increasingly vocal frustration was showing that the tension between the trustees and Tiffany's leadership was reaching a boiling point. The days of blind loyalty to Tiffany were quickly fading, and the pressure to address the financial struggles and make real changes to the administration's approach was growing. The community, it seemed, was no longer willing to tolerate the lack of accountability, and the battle lines were being drawn. The village board meeting revealed a dire picture of Dalton's financial struggles, with trustees calling for the sale of assets owned by the village to alleviate the crisis. Key issues raised included the unutilized Melody Fitness Center property, which stood out as a symbol of mismanagement, despite years of discussions about transforming the building into a fully functioning police station or community center. Tiffany Henyard and her administration were under fire for their inability to effectively manage or make any progress. Property trustee Kiana was visibly frustrated by the inaction call for the sale of the facility to get it back on the tax rolls, an action that would help the village's finances in the short term. The situation surrounding the Melody Fitness Center was not just about financial strain, but also raised concerns about transparency and accountability. Trustee Tammy Brown voiced concerns about a $50,000 sign placed at the facility, which falsely advertised a building as a police station. This sign was erected in an attempt to legitimize a facility status as a functioning police station. But the illuminated and clearly visible sign created a dangerous illusion that residents or visitors might assume it was a fully operational police station. The village's leadership was also under scrutiny for their poor fiscal management. Tiffany's administration had prioritized expensive, unproductive ventures, such as a sign, while ignoring more pressing issues. This pattern of mismanagement reflected a failure to adequately plan or secure the necessary funding before committing to projects, which only deepened the financial hold the village was in. As discussions continued, it became increasingly clear that Tiffany's administration had failed to deliver on its promises and instead addressing the real needs of the community. The Melody Fitness Center, meant to serve as a community resource, had become a symbol of waste and inefficiency. The village spent $50,000 on a sign that was not only unnecessary but also misleading, further contributing to the lack of progress and growing distress within the community. The meeting in Dalton, Ontario, focused on the financial crisis faced by the village. Tiffany's administration was criticized for making empty promises and wasteful spending, which led to public outrage. Residents were misled by signs suggesting the building was a functioning police station, highlighting the risks associated with misleading decisions made by Tiffany and her administration. The trustees were now considering asset sales, such as the Melody Fitness Center, to generate revenue and cut bureaucratic delays. The issue was not about political figures, but finding a solution to the financial crisis. The trustees realized that Tiffany's administration had failed to live up to its responsibilities, leading to missed opportunities and poor planning. As discussions unfolded, it became clear that the time for empty promises had passed, and the village needed real solutions. The road to recovery would require bold decisions and decisive leadership, something that had been lacking under Tiffany's watch. The meeting underscored the need for accountability and a shift in priorities, as the community's trust had been eroded. The time for action is now, and whether Tiffany will rise the occasion or continue to deflect responsibility remains to be seen. The people of Dalton needed more than empty words and misguided priorities. They needed real leadership.